Well, the best that I can remember, this is where it all started. So many years ago. The first, it wasn't the first place I ever ran a skidder. And I still remember that place too, that farm. But the best that I can remember, this was the first really big job of logs that I ever did all the skidding on. I was 16 years old. I was, in the summers between the school years, I'd work. I worked with Dad, and this job here, I did all the dragging on it, and we cut a lot of timber here. All this open area just be full of these big trees like what you see. Of course, these old trees aren't in very good shape, some of them, but he don't want to cut them because he don't want the mess, and I don't blame him anyway. I wouldn't either, because if I remember right, it was a big mess last time. That's back before I knew much about anything or knew any better. But yeah, this is where it all started. This is one of my first big logging jobs. Start to finish with my dad. It seemed like we worked here all summer that year. It's been 16 years ago, which I know for a lot of you guys it isn't long, but there's been a lot of jobs come and go since then. But it's pretty cool to get to come back to some place like this where you cut before, and to see how things have changed, to see how things have grown. And we'll get down here on the creek, and I'll show you this creek crossing we made. And I wished and wished. I've wished every day since we made it I would have took before and after pictures of it then, because it was really a big deal. So we'll go down here, and Dad cut some walnut here yesterday when I was on the road. So we'll get up down here on the creek, and we'll kind of look around and show you guys what the whole place looks like. It's pretty clean. He's done a good job of cleaning it up after we were here. But like I said, this whole hillside through here, just full. It was full of big post oak and red oak timber, if I remember correctly. Big timber, kind of like these trees here. They were big, but they were a little better quality. But we'll see it all today and probably tomorrow. Man, I love getting to cut timber on somebody that really takes care of their farm. This is all mowed and brush hogged down. The landowner takes extremely good care of this place, and it shows, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable logging on a place like that. Of course, these trees right here, like I said, we cut this off 16 years ago, and these trees weren't big enough to cut then. Well, they're pretty good logs now. And what I'm going to do, you can see the tree stump right over here. We've got it cut absolutely as low as the ground as possible. And I'm going to take the skidder and I'm going to push all this brush back over here. I'll probably push it over here kind of into those birch trees or into those water oak right there to keep it out of the field. That stump's low enough, he can mow right over that with a brush hog. He can go right over that. That's in the dirt low. And that's why we do that, because when people take care of their farms, the last thing we want to do is come in here and trash it up when they want us to log it. And that's how we build these good relationships with our clients. That's why we've got so many clients that have us come back time and time again to harvest their timber. That's because we try to take care of the land as best as possible. And that was another big reason why I purchased the skid steer. Now what I'm going to do, and the landowner doesn't know this yet, but what I'm going to do, he's got 2 or 3 creek crossings, and I'm actually crossing one of them, this little ditch right here, because we're dragging the logs on the other side. So what I'm going to do with the skid steer, I'm going to come over here and work all of his creek crossings up real good. Where they got a good approach on each side, make them smooth them out. Just go the extra mile to show the appreciation, because we greatly appreciate the opportunity to get to come back time and time again and cut timber for these people. And we always appreciate the opportunity to make new customers and clients. It's just a way we can say thank you and go back, and if it helps them out, because it does. I wake up every day knowing I'm extremely blessed and extremely thankful to get to come back and log places like this. And it means the world to me. It means the world to my dad. It's a great thing. So if I can give back any way I can, I sure like to do it. And it doesn't bother me to go the extra mile to show our appreciation. So we'll get this last log drug out of here. I'm kind of bunching them right over here before I've already made some drags across the creek, but I'm kind of bunching them up because I'm taking them 2 at a time. So we'll bunch this one over here at the others. We're going to come back. We're going to push all these treetops, get them pushed up right over here out of the way to where they ain't bothering nothing. And on down there where Dad just went, he's already cut some logs down there, and I've already drugged them and bunched the tops and pushed them. So I honestly, I think there'll be more trees here than what Dad originally thought once we get going, because we've already cut several right down here in this little strip. We're not even on the big creek. This is just a little ditch right here. So let's get all this taken care of, start working away that way. Then here after a bit, we'll take you guys down here and show you the crossing, and I'll go over the story behind that crossing. Well, that's where those treetops were right there. I've got a little bit of brush to pick up, just some little sticks and stuff, but it cleaned up pretty nice. I got it all pushed back over there, and I'll push it up a little tighter yet. I'll push it in there. I'll probably actually cut a few of those limbs, that way they lay down a little easier, look a little better, a little more compact. And I've got another one I've drug it out there, kind of kept it out of this little ditch right here. And we've got two tops there. Once we cut that log out, I'll push those tops back up towards the creek. I won't push them in the creek. I'm gonna leave them out of that little ditch right here. Looks like I've still got another one over there I missed a minute ago. That's where I started this morning. I didn't see that one. Yeah, this little creek here, there's not a lot of water in it. I mean, it's just hard to imagine the number of trees we cut out of this hillside. And it runs all the way down through here. It was a bunch of them. I mean, you can see some of of course, there's a few tops there. I mean, you can see how deteriorated down they are. A lot of the stumps are almost all the way rotted out now, which is hard to believe, I thought. But been a while since we've been here. I mean, Dad just dropped a big bur oak over here. I'm waiting for him to cut on a little bit, and I'll go over there and push the top around and drag the log out. All right, now just envision, and it's, like I said, it's a little steeper than it looks. These pictures and videos never do things justice, but 16 years ago, we were logging all this out here. The bigger creek's right down here in the bottom. And there was a lot of timber over here on the other side in this low bottom. A lot of good walnut, a lot of good bur oak, soft maple, ash, etc., etc., etc. So, me being the young kid that I was, I couldn't figure out how we were going to get over there. Could not figure it out for the life of me. And this bank was steep. We've cut it down. It was a lot higher. But this road right here, we had a 648 swing boom grapple skidder, 648D, with an S-Code dual function swing boom. What my dad told us to do, it was me and him working, what he started to do was a lot of these smaller trees out here, these probably 10 to 12 inch trees, we cut them down in 12-foot lengths. And I would grab them, just a big bunch in the grapple, grab them. Well, before I did that, we took the skidder, took the blade, and we started way back up in here. Ever so gently cut this off. Of course, erosion and times kind of filled this back in, which we will slick this back up with a skid steer. That's my big plan. So we started cutting this bank down. Little by little, we started cutting this down. We'll walk down this right here. And it was a lot wider then. Because, I mean, we sent loaded log trucks across this. We did. No joke. So we started cutting this down. You can see we're starting to kind of change a little elevation here. So we're cutting this down. Then once we get so far down here, we start laying all these logs in the creek. And that's them, man. Those are those logs. I couldn't believe this was still here. Could not believe it. There's logs all through here. We're walking on them. These logs, they've rotted down, but they have held up in this crossing over time. All the way across here. You can see all the way over to the other bank. Of course, what that allowed to do was we could build the road, and we had all this pushed over with dirt. And what that allowed to do was the water could still flow freely through here, underneath, and we could run loaded log trucks across this. Right up there. Let's jump down here. Hopefully I don't drop this high-dollar device here, but I mean, like I said, it's hard to get the full idea of how steep this is, but that's actually pretty steep. It really is. And you know, that was the first time I ever built a big crossing of any kind with a skidder, other than just, you know, running across a little ditch or something. I mean, that at the time, I'd always wished, even then, I wish I'd had before and after pictures, because back then I'd had to take them with a camera, a disposable camera, something like that, you know, because we didn't have all these awesome tools like we have now. But that was the coolest thing, you know, at the time that I'd ever done, that me and Dad had done, you know, was building this big crossing. Of course, once we got over here, we climbed up there at the skidder and started cutting this down too. And it just amazes me this crossing's held up over time and these logs have stayed in here like this. And the farmers, you can see tractor tires there. He still uses this crossing. He had no way to get over here until we built this. No way. I mean, you look down through here, you can see what the banks look like. This isn't deep, it's just steep banks because it's all sandy dirt. You know, it erodes real bad. And there's a lot of water that comes down this creek certain times of the year when we get floods. We've done a lot of work on this creek over the years on different farms, but like I said, just to come back when my dad told me this was still here, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, and I know it's not that big of a deal to some people, but to me it was pretty neat. And just to come back and see this, and it kind of makes me feel good about my work that I did, and because I didn't know, man, I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about what I was doing then. The fact that I could drag logs was pretty amazing to me, let alone build creek crossings. That's just, like I said, I wish there was a better way you guys could really get the full experience of the elevation and the grade there. Because that really is, that's a lot steeper than it looks on camera. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna bring the skid steer over here this afternoon, and I'm gonna widen this out, and I'm gonna slick that out and come down here. Same with this side's in pretty good shape, but I'm just gonna widen this out to where it looks a little better wide like it used to be, because it's, you know, over time that dirt will settle in, and the rains, snows, freezes, and all that awesome stuff. And I'm sure we've had some humdinger floods come through here in the last 16 years, which I have my doubts they ever got up in there as high as that is, but hard rains will sure erode it. But that's it's pretty neat to come back to jobs like this that you did years ago, and to see all this and come back and cut timber on them again. It's just a pretty cool feeling. It makes you really think you're doing your job right when you're, just like I always talk about how we manage timber. Stomp up this thing here. But this was at the time one of the coolest things I thought we'd ever done. You know, I'd have thought we'd have built like the Empire State Building. Quite the crossing. Not much oak timber left though. What's there? I mean, you can't imagine all the oak timber we cut out of there anyway. 16 years ago. I mean, just thousands upon thousands of board feet up through there. We're not going to cut any oak out there now though. We're going to let her go. Let her grow a little more. Well guys, that's my epic creek crossing. I know it's probably didn't live up to the hype, but to me, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out with us again today, as always. I'm gonna get out of here. It's lunchtime. I'm gonna go eat lunch. We got a pretty good pile of walnut out this morning. We guess probably about 1,650, 1,700 board feet of walnut. Cut some bur oak, some water oak, just some odds and ends. I really didn't want to cut any of the water oak, but at the landowner's request, we're gonna cut some of the bigger water oak. Like I said, lunchtime, I'm gonna hook up the pintle hitch, get the skid steer. It's just up the road. We're going to bring it over here, that way I can do a lot of this stuff tomorrow and Sunday, and just have it, because Monday I've got a different little job we're going to do Monday with the skid steer on some cleanup and a few big walnut. So that's all that. Guys, so much thank you for following us. Like I said, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Always love to see the new subscribers. Like talking to you guys through the comments, through Facebook, wherever I might talk to you at. It's always great talking to you guys. Man, be sure to like us. I mean, we post a lot of pictures on Instagram and Facebook at Turner Logging LLC. You can do that, and you can check out all my good-looking Logger Threads ladies on the Logger Threads Instagram and Facebook pages. I always like to see those girls in those Logger Thread shirts. I'm a sucker, always a sucker for a good-looking girl. And Timber Tracker. Be sure to check that out. We got hopefully here in the next week, we're gonna release some big information about Timber Tracker. I've been working on a long time. I mean, it's kept me up a lot of late nights. So check all that out. Guys, I'm hungry. Fat man's got to eat. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great weekend for you guys that ain't working. You guys that are working, have a better weekend. We'll see you.